Hello, and welcome to Recapping with Delora
and Ashley.
Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Recapping Podcast.
Also, rate, review, and subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast platform. We're on all the things.
We want to hear your thoughts on the movies and shows we review.
Leave us a comment on Apple Podcasts or our YouTube channel, and we will read them during the show.
Or reach out to us on social media. We love talking all things entertainment and pop culture with you.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you.
Hello, friends. Hello, Delora. How are you today?
Hi, Ashley. I am blessed and highly favored. How about you?
Amen. Hallelujah. I'm doing really well. I'm in a good place. So I'm very appreciative of that. And guys, we hope you're in a great place as well, having a great week, having a great day, no matter where you may be. And we appreciate you for tuning in as always, because it is our Thursday episode, which means it's time to get into what's going on in these pop culture streets. Delora, first up, I'm sorry that we have to deliver this news to anyone who has not heard it. But as of the day that we are recording, I got the alert this afternoon, and that is that the legend, the icon, the one and only Tina Turner has passed away at the age of 83. In the articles that I'm reading from both People and Rolling Stone, they mentioned that she had been suffering from a long illness, which I was unaware of. Were you aware that she had fallen ill?
She mentioned dealing with something in her interview, I believe with Gayle King when doing press for her documentary.
Okay. I know she had some other health issues. I believe she battled cancer. She had a kidney transplant at one point. So I knew she had some other health issues, but was not aware, and definitely shocked when I first saw the headline. I think I gasped when I got the alert. But let me read the statement from her publicist. Tina Turner, the queen of rock and roll, has died peacefully today at the age of 83 after a long illness in her home in, I do not know how to pronounce this, but it's near Zurich, Switzerland. With her, the world loses a music icon and a role model. There will be a private funeral ceremony attended by close friends and family. Please respect the privacy of her family at this difficult time. Obviously, the sentiments and celebrations and thoughts have been pouring in from various celebrities, various outlets. The one that struck me the most, I wanted to read to you guys, and it is posted by Ava DuVernay. She quotes Tina as saying, "When I started as a solo artist, I was a female Black singer in my 40s with no money and few prospects for gigs. Still, I kept a never give up spirit. Part of my spiritual practice is to change poison into medicine, to transform roadblocks through positivity. The force of my positivity pushed the discriminatory isms standing in my way. We all have it within our power to make decisions and take actions that elevate us. Every day, we express who we are and who we wish to become through our thoughts, words, and deeds. Choose the positive path in everything you do. Spread positivity and kindness. That's the way." Absolutely love that. Love that quote. Love that, honoring of this legendary and amazing icon. Delora, we recapped the Tina documentary, and you got to speak about her at that time. But what are your thoughts now that we have lost a legendary figure in music and in life?
What an amazing life she lived. It is absolutely heartbreaking. Getting the news today, my eyes started tearing up because this one hurts. We're at that age where there are some celebrities who have always been famous our entire lives, right? And Tina Turner is one of those celebrities. And her life story, her tenacity, her resiliency, she's an icon, trailblazer. I mean, again, it's one thing when you're exposed to her story. For us, it was what's love got to do with it. We were young women. We weren't even young women. We were girls. Okay?
Yes, we were still girls for sure.
And then when we had the opportunity to talk over her documentary, and for me, I wrote an essay on Tina Turner in college in my pop culture class. Shout out to Bowling Green State University. So I say that to say it really puts things in perspective. She was 40 years old. According to Don Lemon, she was past her prime, right? And I'm sorry, silly joke, but still, by societal standards, no one was checking for her. And the fact that she was able to have such a legendary run is so outstanding.
Yeah.
And again, she's such a maverick in that she was sexy. Those legs, those
legs,
dresses,
baby. Mm-hmm.
I mean, rock and roll, baby. Rock and roll. She will be missed.
Absolutely. I don't really, have much to add. We really talked so much about her during the recap, which I highly encourage you guys to go back and take a listen to. Like I said, she was an icon, man. The main thing that I don't enjoy with her passing is to have to read about Ike Turner again, because obviously her legacy is still intertwined with him. But to your point, the success she was able to have post that situation, I'm so glad she found love. I'm so glad she had happiness. I even saw an Oprah interview she did, and she said, I've done what I was put on this earth to do, and now my life is about pleasure. I have great friends. I have my husband. I'm living my best life, essentially. So when all is said and done, and when it's my time, I'm gonna go out happy. So in my heart, I hope that continued to be the case when she passed away as of today. So it's tough whenever the legends pass, but definitely life well lived, Tina Turner. So rest in peace. All right, Delora, let's move on to our next headline. Netflix has been threatening to crack down on password sharing for a minute. They got a whole hoopla a little while back when it was discussed, and we saw evidence that they were considering basically locking you out of your account when you're traveling, and you have to jump through hoops to be able to access your own account and all this and that. People are like, so what is this cable now? Like, is Netflix I gotta be in my own house just to watch it?
You remember they were shooting for commercials at one point, brainstorming.
It seems like they've rolled those thoughts back, at least for now. And the latest that I'm reading from CNBC, and I have not seen this on my own account as of yet, but they've started alerting customers that password sharing days are a wrap. In an email to members, the streamer said your Netflix account is for you and the people you live with, your household. Members can transfer a profile of someone outside of their household so that the person can begin a membership they pay for on their own, or they can pay an extra fee of $7.99 a month per person. I have many feelings about this and many thoughts about this. But Delora, I'm going to let you go first. What do you think?
I feel like I'm going to be really impressed with the technology to be able to monitor this level of, it's feeling kind of Big Brother in some ways, right? Like, what if they develop this technology and then sell it to the government? I'm going down a rabbit hole. Let's take it back. It should be interesting to see what they're able to do. I don't know how they'll be able to do it. And then if you violate it, yes, it's a charge. I don't know. They're trying. I don't have much to say, Ashley. What do you think?
I have such mixed feelings because I know that Netflix is a business at the end of the day.
Yes.
And we saw that like $200,000 the loss or dip in subscribers resulted in a change in the value of their stock on Wall Street, or however that kind of went down at the time, whatever. It was a hoopla. So I understand. It was like growth is stagnant or we're losing subscribers. We got to figure out this business model. But on this other end of that, in my opinion, Netflix is being greedy because
I'm like, there's a level of shrink that they have to take into consideration when it comes to their financials. So like,
you're covering the globe, Netflix. You're covering the globe. And now you want to say that those of us who have been loyal to you all these years and who have been subscribers all these years have to suffer just because your business model is no longer working in your favor. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I feel. Because at one point, Netflix was all about sharing is caring. Somebody dug up that old tweet.
I found it. It was back in 2017. March 10th. 2017. Love is sharing a password.
A mere 6 years ago, singing a very different tune. So as a customer, I think this is bullshit. As a business, I understand you have to make a profit, but as a customer, this is bullshit. So for me, we both consume heavily from Netflix. It is technically the streaming service that we recap from the most, right? But things can change. And there are a lot of competitors in the market at this point.
Exactly.
I've spoken to friends and family about this. Some people who don't consume content nearly as much as us, I think they're going to be good with no longer consuming from Netflix and move on. Some people tell me now, oh, my favorite streaming service is actually Hulu. And Hulu and Disney Plus are about to merge. So you're about to get all of the
they're
Disney
already
content.
under the same content.
Under the same umbrella, but not under the same app. Right?
Correct.
They're going to end up rolling up under the same app.
Interesting.
So you already have that happening. You already have Amazon Prime, which Prime has not been my favorite, but when Prime delivers, it delivers. When it has good content, it has good content.
Yep. Our next recap.
Exactly. HBO Max is about to become Max because HBO is joining with Discovery Plus.
Who's going to call it Max?
I don't care what y'all call it, right? Just have the app together. Because HBO Max was killing me for a little bit. They were the most significant issues of any of the streaming services.
It's so funny because I've been watching some things on Apple TV and even Amazon Prime. And I will say Netflix has the best technology when it comes to wanting to rewind or fast forward and doesn't act glitchy because you're like, hey, I missed something. Let me rewind this back 15 seconds ago.
Apple TV Plus, I've told you and I've told our listeners, is becoming a fast favorite of mine. When at one point I was like, why do I still have Apple TV Plus? Content has been coming quicker and better, in my opinion. So, and I know I miss some others, Peacock and all those, but I say this to say that I think it's tough. I think it's tougher than they think. I think that they may see, at least in the initial changes, a more significant dip than they may be prepared for. Maybe they are prepared, but I think more people are going to not care than they think. Is my point. Exactly.
Especially if they're changing their overall programming model. Because the one thing that Netflix took a lot of pride in was the amount of new content, but they also weren't really fiscally responsible during that. So now they're cutting back, canceling seasons after the first one, and really looking into, I don't know what their new programming model is going to be, but I do know that the amount of new content we used to get out of them is going to change dramatically. Plus, let's not forget the writer's strike.
Right, which we're going to get to. And I was just reading a little bit further down in the CNBC article. I guess Netflix did still announce that they're going to introduce a cheaper ad-supported tier to their offering. So that still will be an option, which I'm not somebody, ads don't hurt for me. Like I still do ads via Hulu and all that. It's just going to depend on how they're cut and how often they are interspersed into the content that I would care about in terms of just the overall watch. But I think I'm so used to not having it with Netflix that it would be a transition.
Like, I wouldn't want to see a commercial while I'm in the middle of Even Days for Queen Charlotte. You know what I mean? Like, do you love me? I will stand between the heavens and the earth. Here's a commercial. No. Unless the commercials are in between episodes. That may be possible, because then you have to wait to get to the next episode. Free game, Netflix. Free game.
Oh, I'm also seeing Paramount Plus is combining with Showtime. So that's another one that is merging. I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, the thing is that there's competition. There's a lot of great content that's spread across now. So, you know, time will tell what the result is with this. But as a consumer, it's disappointing. So those are my thoughts. All right, Delora, let's move on to our next headline. Girl, I feel like we talk about Beyonce almost every week these days, but, you know, fitting.
I mean, shout out to Yvette, her publicist. Like, I feel like some of this stuff is like, you know, underground that makes its way to blogs and then eventually the news.
Yeah. Well, this is about her and Jay-Z expanding their real estate portfolio. Beyonce and Jay-Z bought a Malibu estate for $200 million, the most expensive home in California. They purchased the sprawling estate, which was privately listed because, I mean, I'm pretty sure you don't put that on realtor.com, right?
Nope.
It was listed by notable Los Angeles art collector Bill Bell Jr., who is apparently the heir to the soap opera fortune his father created, Young and the Restless and the Bold and the Beautiful. Amazing. He purchased the property in the late 90s for $14.5 million and then enlisted a renowned Japanese architect, Tato Ando, to create a modernist glass and concrete structure. He's also considered one of the biggest art collectors in the world.
Wow.
I had to see who the realtor was because, you know, we love shows like Selling Sunset and such. So I was like, who got this commission? You know what I'm saying?
Somebody was like, Davina finally sold it.
Girl, wouldn't that be crazy? If it were one of the ladies from Selling Sunset, you know, they would have tried to figure out a way to drop that into the next season of the show.
Easily, because everybody apparently have $1 billion clients. I'm like, everybody got $1 billion clients on the roster? Okay.
Allegedly. So the sale was actually brokered by, his name is Kurt Rappaport, a celebrity real estate agent of the West Side Estate Agency. And he represented both the buyer and the seller. Woo! Get that check.
Can we just take a moment? I just lost my breath. What?
Girl, get that check.
Insanity. What?
Damn. All right. Oh my goodness. The home spans nearly 8 acres and has a private beach, infinity pool, and in this article, it says seems to stretch off into the ocean. This is a Forbes.com article, by the way, that I'm reading. More amenities, but they don't have the full list because obviously, again, this was a private sale and Jay-Z and Beyonce are not trying to have y'all scroll through the pictures of their home on these internets. So this, even as expensive as it is not the most expensive sale in the nation, though. That still belongs to a billionaire hedge fund manager who purchased a New York City penthouse for $238 million.
New York.
Jesus.
I actually just watched. I know I am secretly a 65-year-old woman on the inside, but one of my favorite shows is CBS Sunday Morning. Okay. And they have the profiles, celebrity profiles, and then very unique topics. And this past week, it was all about homes. And they toured a $200 million high rise looking out Central Park. And it was real estate porn to its finest, frankly.
I know people love New York, but I'd be damned if I'm spending $200 million and I'm living in that rat infested city. I'm sorry to any New Yorkers.
You are in, I think it was like the 130th floor. The way my claustrophobia anxiety is set up, I'm taking the stairs. Like, I'm going to be on somebody's elevator.
Girl.
130 floors? Jesus, take the wheel. I'm going to have to be sedated or something. I don't know.
Just give me 20% of some of this. Just give me 20%.
That is it. That is all, actually. Oh, and really quick, in that same episode, they talked about tiny homes and the evolution of the elevator. So you go.
No, but that is fascinating. I enjoy stuff like that too. I really do. So I'm with you. I do like a lot of CBS news content. I think their stuff is usually very well done. ABC as well. Mm-hmm. So this home really just adds to their real estate portfolio. They have a $88 million Bel Air home. They own homes in New York and the Hamptons. And yeah, I mean, I don't know which of these homes they really frequent or live at or any of that. I mean, they're rich. So I'm sure they dip their toe in a lot of places. So whose house is this going to be really? Just to be a friend and be like, hey, can I go stay at the Bel Air pad while y'all are at the Malibu one?
I actually had a conversation with somebody like that before. I was like, before I used to want to be the person with the boat, but now I just want to be friends with the person with the boat. You know what I mean?
Yes. Because the people who own these houses rarely get to enjoy these houses.
And they have the foot the bill.
Yeah. They out making that money.
She on tour right now.
She in Europe. So who's staying at these houses?
Wait, who was I talking to? I might have been talking to you. They were like, Beyonce is the hardest working billionaire wife out there.
I didn't say that, but that's a good line, though. And that's facts. I just wanted to talk about this because it's just insane to me. Like, it's just insane. There's a lot of wealth out here in this world. And like I said, just give me 20%.
I am open and accepting of all the good in the world, in the universe. That's one of my affirmations.
There you go. All right, let's move on to our final headline of the day. This Color Purple trailer dropped, and it is everything. In case you guys are not aware, haven't seen it, there is a remake that is dropping December 25th, Christmas Day. And it is done by Oprah and Steven Spielberg. Fantasia stars in it. Halle Bailey
Quincy
stars in it. Fantasia is Celie. So let me not make it seem like she just stars in it. She is Celie.
She is it.
Yeah. Danielle Brooks is Sophia. Taraji P. Henson is Suge. Coleman Domingo is Mr. It's going to be hard to watch him as Mr. I'm not going to lie to you.
Listen, when I heard that he was cast, I was like, first of all, he's going to murder this role. Second of all, I'm never going to be able to look him in the eye ever again.
Yeah, it's tough.
You know how long it took me to get over Danny Glover being Mr.?
I know.
Lethal Weapon my ass. I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be an amazing performance, but it is going to be hard to sit through.
He has the range, and he's going to kill it, and I'm going to hate him.
No doubt.
When was the last time you hated a character in a show or movie?
I hate characters all the time. Like, there's usually at least one.
Loathe them. It's one thing to be annoyed, but like, I hated Glenn Close, Cruella DeVille back in the day, right? And I hated Mr. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good question. When's the last time I really hated a character?
Because we live in an age now, especially in the last probably like 10 to 15 years, where we deal with a lot of morally gray characters, right? Like they're bad, but we get a backstory, which makes them somewhat sympathetic. But at the end of the day, they're still ain't shit. But
Yep.
you know what I mean?
Yep. I could probably name you somebody in so many projects, and I'm just drawing a blank right now. Like, so maybe Power was one of the last ones that I was like, there's so many people in this show like I genuinely like hate. And so that's why I stopped watching it, because I was like, I don't even like none of y'all, right? Like,
oh, Game of Thrones, as always. Littlefinger.
Yeah, he was bad. He was bad.
I hated him.
I hated Ramsey. I hated Joffrey. There's like it's too many.
Yes,
it's too many. And I asked people, like true people who really got into it. I was like, so who is the more villainous character, Ramsey to you or Joffrey? And tell me why.
That's not a fair question.
Why isn't it fair? I feel like it's very fair.
Question.
I feel like it's very fair. For me, it's Ramsey. Like, of the two, it's Ramsey, because I feel like Joffrey, while they both had traumatic childhoods and traumatic things happen to them, you know, Joffrey being born of twin incest is, you know, this whole thing. And Ramsey being the product of rape. Okay. But Ramsey, to me, took way more pleasure in people's pain than I really saw from Joffrey. And so to me, he was a horrible human being. Not that Joffrey's not too, but I was like, Ramsey is a different type of sick that I just, you know, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Through line of Sansa, she had the worst situation.
Yeah, that's why you can understand when she became like more hardcore.
Yeah,
after the fact, because poor thing, she was a virgin. You had your virginity taken by that.
Gross,
horrific. But let me finish this cast list real quick. Her girl, my boo, as Squeak, Halle Bailey as Young Nettie, Corey Hawkins as Harpo, and Ingenue Elise Taylor as Mama. It also features Louis Gossett Jr., David Allen Greer, Sierra, Dion Cole, Tamala Mann, John Baptiste. So, I mean, it's going to be a stacked cast. The trailer, when I tell you, it gave me the feels immediately. Like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, my God.
Ashley, when I saw it, I had goosebumps immediately. I'm going to be bawling my eyes out. That's what I'll be doing, because the fact that Fantasia, I mean, she's the part of the original cast. So for her to originate the song, I know she's going to be everything. And I'm excited. They better get some recognition too. And it better not be like the 80s, how you get nominated. I think they were nominated 10 times and got 0 Oscars.
I'm reading from Variety. I was just reading some of the statements that Oprah has made about the film. And she was asked about the need to retell this story almost 40 years after the original. And she said, as long as there's a need for self-discovery, self-empowerment, as long as there's a need for victory in someone's life, as long as there's a need for people to know what it feels like to be loved up and to be made full and hold to somebody else's love, there will be a need for the color purple. And she says she hopes that the film's message will bring healing. That's so powerful.
That's why she's Oprah.
Yes.
Holy, that was phenomenal. I want to clap for that statement alone. Like, what? What?
Absolutely. That is why she is Oprah. Well, I'm super excited to see what they do with this. I can't wait until it comes out. And let's just say Halle Bailey is living her best life right now. So,
cousin, little sis, get your bag.
Yep.
Just take them all. Speaking of that, I'm seeing it on Saturday. Little Mermaid, my ticket is bought.
Yeah, I need to buy my ticket. I think I'm going to go on Friday, but I need to go ahead and get my ticket. All right, Delora, let's move on to our first hot topic. The writer's strike continues. And the article that we both were mentioning, we had been looking at from the Daily Beast, they mentioned that the Writers Guild of America's picket line has been the hottest spot for celebrity sightings since the start of May. You've had star writers like Tina Fey, David Simon. You've had A-list actors like Chris Pine, Susan Sarandon. I mean, there's been a plethora. I see them all the time on Instagram. Yes. But now, Delora, SAG announced that both its negotiating committee and national board have unanimously agreed to authorize a strike. Its members are preparing for a vote of their own, and SAG president Fran Drescher, which who knew Fran Drescher was the president of SAG?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
It really switches up, and she has obviously been one of the recent ones where I was like, oh, okay. But in past years, I can't think of any right now, but it's always fun to see who's the president.
For sure. I'm like, okay, Fran. But she's urging members to make 3 a charm with an emphatic yes for a strike authorization vote. To do so, she said, would be an unprecedented show of solidarity. Delora, the DGA, Directors Guild of America, is also considering whether or not this is something they want to do, even though in this article, they basically said that they have a different relationship with the studios than the actors and the writers do. But yes, if the actors strike, that is huge.
Yes.
That is power. What do you think about this possibility of at least SAG going on strike and joining the writers?
It seems like a natural progression, honestly, because unless you are an A-lister, you're a working actor. So to my understanding, actors aren't getting the best deal when it comes to streaming revenue as well. And so more power to the actors, because at the end of the day, for example, I was quoting Queen Charlotte earlier. Yes, India and Corey are everything, but they had phenomenal material to go off of. Like you can't love these shows and movies and not understand the importance of the writers.
The writing is everything.
Literally.
The lines that y'all love, that y'all post about, that y'all clip,
exactly,
is because of great writing team.
Someone's imagination.
Yes.
And if you want to go further back, it's probably off of some original IP that was phenomenal too. Sometimes, very rarely though, the movie are better than the actual original source material, but I digress. I think this is a wonderful idea, and I think it'll help move things along quicker the more power you have. And you have 2 powerful organizations going up against these studios. So let's go.
Yeah, like I said, it would be amazing for the writers, if the actors decide to do this, because of the power that they hold in Hollywood. I also wanted to just touch on the fact that their contracts, both SAG and DGA, end June 30th. So they do still have a bit of time, but I mean, we'll see what happens. It still doesn't seem like the writers and the studios have had any conversations from what I've seen and heard.
Same.
Also was seeing in this article that they were mentioning that a big factor in this is going to be public support. And so I wanted to bring up this Boston University situation and how the CEO of Warner Brothers was booed at the graduation by the students, who were some of them chanting "pay your writers," some of them booing them. There was a demonstration at the graduation against this man. I feel like the momentum is definitely in the writers' favor in terms of public opinion. But what were your thoughts?
I agree. Absolutely. Public opinion is with the writers. It doesn't make any sense. Like, with the evolution of streaming and, walking away from traditional network television, there should have been better provision set up for content creation, especially because, actually I can play devil's advocate with that too, right? So one of the things that streaming has been praised upon in recent years is the breadth of new ideas and having a lot of quote unquote minority voices being able to be amplified. And we see that in series like Atlanta and Insecure. But then at the same time, it's like, were they taking advantage of these minority groups just to be able to have an opportunity to shine but then do it at the expense of the writers. And now we're talking about the actors when it comes to royalties for streaming, now that a lot of these series are no longer in production. So really fascinating stuff.
Is a moment in history for sure. One last thing I wanted to note from this particular article was that it was noted by Stephen Ross, professor of history at the University of Southern California and author of Working Class Hollywood, that it's a pivotal moment for the broader labor movement. He said, this is not just about the movie industry. This is also about the future of labor capital relations and how they're going to go. So, moment in history. It's going to be very interesting to see how this shakes out. But like I said, I do think it'll be so powerful and will give huge leverage to the WGA if SAG or the DGA or both decide to join them in this fight. So more to come on that, friends. Let's get into our final hot topic of the day. Your fave couple, the Sussexes. We got some disturbing, and that's really how I felt about it, disturbing news at the end of last week about a potential, as it was labeled by media outlets I saw, near catastrophic car chase that happened between them and the paparazzi. Meghan and Harry, and I'm reading this from People, were leaving the Miss Foundation 2023 Women of Vision Awards in Manhattan alongside Meghan's mom. Meghan was recognized as a Woman of Vision Award honoree for her global advocacy for empowering women and girls. And she brought her husband, Prince Harry, and her mother to the event as her surprise guests.
Can we take a moment and talk about how phenomenal she looked at that freaking event?
She doesn't have bad days for me.
But she looked well-rested, sun-kissed, and unbothered in that outfit.
She does have a little more melanin in the skin now that you mention it. So
California will do that to you.
Sun-kissed indeed. She looks great, for sure. But apparently after this event, they were trailed aggressively by paparazzi, and they said that it created a near catastrophic car chase. Now, obviously, the reason why I said that it was, alarming and all that, Princess Diana tragically died in a car crash in 1997 that involved paparazzi pursuing her vehicle. Prince Harry has spoken openly about the fact that he still has PTSD from that situation and when it comes to paparazzi. But the thing that made this a hot topic that I really want to discuss is that it has now become such a spectacle within, the public domain in terms of, was this over exaggerated? Were they really chased through the streets of New York for 2 hours? People are saying that doesn't make sense. New York is usually gridlocked. Nobody can be chased in a car for 2 hours. You even had people on The View weighing in. You had all sorts of people with an opinion about whether this situation was overblown. You have Prince Harry and Meghan, who demanded that the organization who was behind the paparazzi, cough up the images and videos that they had taken of that night. And the organization in their back grid, their lawyer rejected it, saying, this is America. And as I'm sure you know, property belongs to the owner of it. Third parties cannot demand to be given anything, as perhaps kings can do. Blah, 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 blah. Sit down with your client, tell them English rules do not apply here. We rejected that in this country a long time ago. That was very sarcastic response, I guess is the best way to say it.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is your favorite couple.
It is.
What did you think about this situation?
They never said it was a high-speed chase.
Correct.
They said it was a chase. So it is very possible that they felt uncomfortable and they were being pursued for 2 hours in New York. Probably didn't feel comfortable going to the place that they were going to stay at, because why would you take them to where you plan on laying your head? You know what I mean?
Well, and that is a part of the stories that I saw, and maybe CNN's coverage, that basically they were staying at a private residence of a friend. And so they did not want to go back there immediately after the event because they wanted to keep that private.
Prince Harry talked about in his memoir, Spare, riding in cars at the speed in which his mother and all the accident reports said happened, the events that led to her death. So I think it's very possible for them to feel uncomfortable. People really did say that pedestrians could have gotten hit. You know, cars were up on the curb. They said near catastrophic, meaning someone could have gotten hurt and died because they were being pursued. So
I think that's the biggest point, is that they didn't just say we could have died. They're saying catastrophic in terms of something horrible could have happened or resulted from this chase.
And a lot of people who are naysayers simply do not like them, as well as Prince Harry has been very vocal about his dislike about the press. So the likelihood of them getting good press can be low. I think that's a level of expectation to have, even over here. I think overall, Americans, you know, we don't mind the Sussex unless you're rooting for them like myself, but the level of vitriol that they have in Britain is different, but that doesn't make them immune to, you know, someone who's actively talking against the press. It makes them suspect number one.
Definitely have a continued contentious relationship with the press and the media at this point. So that was definitely something I thought about when I started seeing all the hoopla. Was like, I mean, obviously there's been lawsuits and there's been a lot of discussion in their documentary and his book and all of that about the toll that this takes and all of that. So was the rhetoric, was the wording used possibly to some people over exaggerated? May have been. But at the same time, nobody else is living this life and living in their shoes but them. So also can't say how you felt in that moment and what you experienced and what you witnessed. But the biggest thing to me was that it became such a big deal. I was like, the fact that this, like, as much as people want to talk shit about them and talk about they don't like them, everything they do, y'all still follow, y'all still monitor. It still becomes a huge headline. So, you know, I'm glad at the end of the day that everybody was safe and that nothing happened. Because again, when I first saw the headline and when I first saw it, I was like, what do you mean a near catastrophic car chase? Like, God forbid they were to perish in a car accident. That would be horrific. So I'm glad everybody's safe and sound. I hope that this is resolved and everybody's able to move on. Obviously, they asked the royal family in England for comment. They said no comment. It is what it is, guys. They still ain't cool. Prince Harry left that coronation as quickly as humanly possible. So there's going to be no response on it. I'm glad that everybody's okay.
Absolutely.
All right, Delora, that is it for us for today. What are we recapping for the people for next week?
Well, we are recapping something I am super excited about because I raved about this book last year, and now it's a series on Amazon Prime. I'm talking about Daisy Jones and the Six.
Oh, yeah. This will be a good one. I was really into this series and was watching it weekly when it first started. So excited to get into it. The music
is good.
Riley Keough really surprised me. Like, obviously being the granddaughter of Elvis, I assumed there was musical talent in the family, but I had never seen her in a project where she got to demonstrate her music ability.
She's never done it before.
So I was thoroughly impressed. But see, guys, then looking forward to it. Thank you as always for sticking with us for an episode. Please feel free to share this with whomever you see fit. We are on all the things on social media, as well as all the apps for you to be able to listen with your friends, loved ones, or, you know, just on that car drive. We appreciate y'all so much.
Yes.
See you next time. Be blessed.
Safe travels to everyone driving or traveling during this weekend. Okay. Bye.